Everybody. As always, it's really good to be with fellow enthusiasts. And one of the reasons I've come this weekend is to give everyone an update on what RH has been doing to encourage the next generation. And we have two fine examples of next generation drivers with us. One, are you 2 years off? 17?
1 year.
No, 1 year. 2, okay. So historically, we couldn't offer warranted accompanied cover with RH on an Austin 7 until the age of 18. In the last 2 to 3 months this has changed, and it's actually changed in a really positive way, because now when you're 17, as long as you've got your mum, dad or family member, responsible person who's insured with us sitting with you, you can actually drive the car. So we call that warranted accompanied. Are there any other young drivers under 25 here?
No, not me.
No? Okay, and I've seen you doing hill climbs and trials, so hopefully benefited from young driver cover. So when the young driver has done a minimum of 12 months warranted accompanied, we can then look to let you go solo, which means for this young gentleman, David's older son,
Scott.
When Scott turned 18, was it on your birthday, Scott? Okay. So on Scott's 18th birthday, he was allowed then to drive solo. So all of Dad's amazing collection of cars, Scott would now drive solo, and I believe doing extremely well. I saw you driving today, beautiful parking and reversing. So it really is an amazing way to actually get the younger generation fully engaged and actively involved in driving these amazing cars. For other makes and models, some of our schemes we can accommodate from 18 plus, which would be Triumph Stag. For Rolls-Royce and Bentley it's 21, and Alvis and Austin 10, but all other makes and models is age 25. Any questions from young drivers? Nick?
Is this increasing the cost at all to the insurance holder?
Okay, so for warranted accompanied, we can actually add the young driver free of charge. There may be an increased young driver excess, which is sensible. So in the event of a claim, there'll be a higher excess if the young driver is driving. On the solo policy, generally the premium will be a little bit higher than the normal, but it shouldn't be a prohibitive factor in applying for being accepted for young driver cover.
What does that mean in reality when you say it shouldn't be prohibited?
I can answer that. So Seb is 19, he is now driving unaccompanied in the Austin 7, and his insurance, adding him to the insurance is significantly cheaper than on the Mazda 2 that I own that he drives. It's cheaper to drive the 7 than a regular everyday car. It's not cheap, but it's certainly not stupid. We can manage it.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm
Thank you.
So hopefully that answers that.
Can I just clarify, the 17, does that mean a qualified driver or a provisional licence?
They have to have their full UK licence.
Thank you.
So it can be literally the day they've passed their test, right? And as long as they are, which they will be, claim and conviction free, no points, then 17 plus with a full UK licence, we can look for them to go warranted accompanied.
And we've applied for that on the 17th, as soon as they've passed the test as well on the 17th. So, and RH will do it straight away, no problems.
Yeah. What also helps is if the family, for example, is known to us. That's not to say that someone who bought an Austin 7 6 or 12 months ago phoned us is going to get refused. But for family like the Morby family, who are very, very well known to RH, when David phones or his wife phones, we know them. The whole team knows the Morby family, and a lot of our clients, we know them. We've met you at rallies. We've known you for many, many years, and it does help. So the team actually are actively listening for certain names, connections, and if they're not sure, often the referral will come across certain desks to say, do you know this family? And 9 times out of 10 we do.
I think we slipped through. Just missed our name on the list.
Not that Healy family.
Well known on Crime Watch.
And of course the power of social media. We'll do things like we'll Google Earth as well. If it's a client that maybe isn't so well known, or we haven't personally visited the premises, the team also will use Google Earth. Just to verify. Is the garage in? Telling us, is it garaged? If there's a driveway, if it's something that could be kept on the driveway overnight, is the driveway big enough? If it's a Sherman tank, does it fit? And you'd be amazed. It's very, very rare, but sometimes a potential client will complain something actually isn't the case, and it's our team's job to weed out those cases, and they're very, very good at it. Very good.
Yeah, probably on other insurance, Emma, it's worth noting that anywhere where you keep your cars, it's worth telling RH where you're likely to keep your cars overnight, even if it's just the odd occasion.
That's a really good point, David. So with our classic policies, we have recently, I wouldn't advocate this, but recently you can actually now have agree value up to £50,000 on vehicles if they're kept on the driveway. However, it's often a requirement of insurance with us to have your car kept garaged overnight, which means between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. if you've got the garaging clause, it's clause 896, an endorsement on your policy, it's got to be garaged between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. but only when it's at home or the declared garaging address, which could be an alternative address to your home. If the car is in use, so it's here, it's on the show field, you can go back to your hotel overnight and you can theoretically leave the car on the field and it's covered. The garaging clause only applies when it's at the home address. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Very good.
Super.
Brilliant.
If the car is insured to be kept on the driveway overnight,
Yes.
if you have to have a visitor and you've left your car on the roadway, are you then you're
Not covered, David.
covered.
No. If you've got the garaging clause, it
No,
has to
yeah.
be.
or on the driveway?
No. Again, if it's supposed to be garaged overnight, it's absolutely got to be for cover to be valid.
Yeah. Or if it's if it's insured to be on the driveway, if you've said we've got a driveway.
That's fine. If it's insured on the driveway,
Yeah.
that's fine.
You
but
could-
again, don't leave it on the road overnight.
Thank you.
It's supposed to be on the driveway, which all of our classics that are insured have got to be either garaged, preferably, or if the insurer has accepted the risk on the driveway, it's got to be on the driveway, not left on the road at home.
Because I have actually done that when a chap turned up in a vintage Humber. I
Right.
put his car on my drive and I put my car on the road.
Maybe
All
next time.
innocent like.
No.
Yeah.
Next time, please keep yours on the driveway.
Yeah, sure.
for cover to be valid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you just said if you're at a rally and you leave your car on the rally field and go to your hotel,
Yes.
that's fine.
It is.
What happens if you're in your car and you've taken your car to the hotel? Is that wasted?
That's fine.
That's
That's absolutely fine. Yeah, hotels and pub car parks, rally fields, all of it's good. If you're on holiday in Europe, again, that's good. It's just when it's at your usual address. We've got another benefit with RH, and Nick loves this one. You know what's coming, Nick, don't you?
I think so.
Okay. So we've actually introduced something called misfueling cover.
This is very embarrassing.
And it's going to be on video, Nick, and on YouTube very soon.
So the good news is, and this is one of the top 20 reasons to insure with RH, it's kind of down the list because it doesn't happen very often, fortunately, but if you have put the wrong kind of fuel in your vehicle, so diesel into an Austin 7, we will actually send a gentleman, lady, who'll come and flush the tank and top you up. I think it's 10 litres of fuel, free of charge.
Wow.
It's incredible.
Wow.
It's a really good service.
Is that why you did it?
No, I've never. I've had to pay each time because I didn't know that this was a cover, and it's cost me in one case £250. That was the cheapest one. The most expensive one.
Fuel, though.
The most expensive one was nearly £400.
Notice the word.
Each time.
Occasion.
Each time.
Yes, there have been 3 occasions when this has happened.
You got a T-shirt on the last one.
I did.
I can say that actually, if you fill your 7 with diesel, it will actually still work. Don't ask me how I know.
Not for long.
Excellent. And of course,
No, you fill up with petrol afterwards.
No, no, it doesn't work for long. I've filled mine up with diesel.
Well, I drained it out. And then
It's
kept
only
putting it back
it
with
coughs,
petrol.
and then you just drain them through, and then they
Yeah.
go again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't throw it away. I just keep putting it back a bit at a time. I'm too tight to that. That's right. Yeah.
No, I had an empty tank and I filled it full of diesel.
So, just to make everybody aware, this is the Austin 7 Association chairman and the pre-war Austin 7 chairman just agreeing that they have both put diesel in their Austin 7s.
and the final point, and this should be something that all of us hopefully know already, and I know the majority of us do know this. So if you are with our age and you have an incident where there's damage to your vehicle and it's declared an insurance write-off, which means it's uneconomical to be repaired, but it can still legally be put back on the road. Let's say you've insured your Austin 7 for an agreed value of £20,000. Okay. This means in the event of a claim, you'll receive your £20,000 plus the salvage without any deduction from the settlement. Now, a lot of our competitors still operate something called the buyback clause, and a lot of people who aren't with our age think buyback is entirely normal and it's a really good thing and it's the right thing. In reality, if you have got the buyback clause, you'll be lucky, even on agreed value at 20, let's say, to receive £12,000 plus the salvage. Because with buyback, the insurer will look to deduct any amount they deem fit, which could be up to 40% of the vehicle's value. And I'm sure we've all known somebody at some point that has actually had to buy back their own salvage. And our clients don't do that. Our clients are given the salvage plus the settlement. So I hope that's explained fine. I'm not planning to take any more of your precious time today because I'm aware this is a rally. It's been an amazing party atmosphere pretty much since Friday at 5 o'clock when the bar opened. And we've all had a really, really fantastic time. Hopefully this will happen again next year. We're thinking of coming on a Thursday night, eating in the restaurant, which is associated with Stonehurst, on Thursday, which would be great, and do it all again. And I can imagine bigger, maybe even better than this year, but it would be tremendous.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank RH for giving us the sponsorship for this rally of £1,000, which is paid for this marquee, which I hope most of you consider as a great benefit to the event, and I'd like to say thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Emma. Thank you.